today's Face-Off on Fox Soul. Challengers Quan LX and Big Angry Adams. Ready to go blow by blow on those hot topics. Face-Off on Fox Soul starts right now.
Work of a public defender is not typically considered very glamorous.
In the first degree, yes.
But one transgender attorney in Washington is challenging stereotypes thanks to her eye-popping appearance. Lawyer Stephanie Muller has been open about her background and says it has no bearing on her ability as a public defender. And on Thursday, the septuagenarian attorney raised eyebrows after appearing before a Seattle court in a very revealing outfit.
She's accused of, criminal trespass.
In the first degree, yes. She's innocent, of course.
She's innocent, okay. Well, she's caught on video being arrested and protesting.
The client has pled not guilty and she's not guilty. How about that?
Despite her eye-catching appearance, Muller says she has been treated with complete respect and great acceptance since her transition in 2012. She explained, "Everywhere I go, people are friendly and polite. In the courtroom, the issue has never once arisen, as should be the case. I get good results because I'm a good lawyer. My gender is beside the point. This is very, very fabulous."
Charles, what in the hell did we just watch? That looks like Bigfoot with lipstick and a wig. What is going on here, Charles? Whatever happened to proper courtroom decorum? You and I both know that a judge should have excused her out of that courtroom and said, "Thank you for coming to defend your client, but come back dressed appropriately to represent your client in the courtroom." Them big old fake, gorilla-looking breasts, man, so big, look like her nipples look like floodlights. That's a disgrace. Not even a woman, a real woman, should dress like that in a courtroom. That's disrespectful to the court, but that wasn't no real woman. That looked like she played linebacker for the Chicago Bears. Did you hear the voice? Did you hear the, don't play, you know what I'm saying to you. Did you hear the voice? Well, my client, what the hell? That ain't no woman, man.
I will say, Cornell, that initially, I'll be honest, when I first saw the video, I thought, and this is, some younger people aren't going to get this, I thought that was Dee Snider from Twisted Sister. You remember Twisted Sister? Yes. We're not going to take it, you know, big crazy hair with breasts, right? Which were clearly prosthetic breasts. That doesn't look like a boob job to me. That looks like a cartoon.
That looks like a cartoon outfit.
Right, and then the hard nipples of the prosthetics poking through the sweater, I will agree that felt inappropriate, okay? And I also agree that all over this country, courtroom decorum has gone to hell. You know, you see, I'm in court every day, you see guys in tennis shoes, you know, women dressed like, you know, they're going to the club, men are in jeans. It does seem like we are dialing back etiquette. But you put all that aside, and the obviously ridiculous appearance, I support her ability, you know, I want her to be able to live her life however she wants to live it. And it did sound like she was stridently advocating for her clients, which is what you want in an attorney. Do I think that would go over well in Texas? Probably not. Seattle? I would imagine in Seattle, they're more apt to look past her appearance.
Can you stop being politically correct?
How am I being politically
correct? You and I both know together that woman, that man, whatever he is on that day, looks crazy as hell. Real women should be outraged, and real professional women who are lawyers should remind this new wannabe woman that this is not proper courtroom decorum. What if a transgender female into a male decided to wear some leather pants in a courtroom with a big dildo print laying at the leg of us for everybody to see? Because that man rolled those big old like that for everybody to see. So should a woman that transitions to a man be allowed to wear a dildo in her pants with tight pants on?
You know, that sounds tacky and inappropriate. I think it's a little bit different, but not much. I'll give you, you know what, I'm not supposed to say you're right on stuff. We're supposed to argue on this show, but I'm going to give you right now. The nipples in the tight sweater, that was a bit much. But again, with lawyers, especially criminal defense, you want someone that's going to zealously advocate for your position. And it sounded as if she was, I mean, the deep voice throws me off.
Sound like Bigfoot.
But sounds as if She was very well versed in the law and the circumstance of her client and
I
making
don't
a great
question
argument.
that.
Well, that's,
she's probably a great lawyer, but when it comes to courtroom civility and decorum, when it comes to self-respect
she seemed
in the courtroom,
incredibly
that's
civil.
pathetic.
She was very
That's
well
crazy.
spoken.
Charles, what real woman wears hot leather pants in April?
Okay, so I will say.
Some thick leather, and had riding boots on. She had riding boots on. She was getting ready to ride a horse.
I mean,
that looked like the horse to me.
She probably riding something, Quanell.
Well,
but again, I support people's ability to live their lives however they want to live their lives and do what they want to do. And I look at lawyers based on the efficacy of their advocacy. And it seems like, based on her own statements, that she's taken seriously, she's treated respectfully. I do think,
and that's a positive thing.
I do think the
but
nipples.
That foolishness that she's wearing.
I think the fake. I assume they're fake nipples. Those felt disrespectful. Though you don't need to go to court trying to titillate other people or titillate yourself.
So
and
why
I
don't
would
some
argue,
transgender activists come out and say, "Hey, look, that's too much. That's going too far," because you have some transgender women who transition from women to men or from men to women. Somebody from that community should say, wait a minute, this is over the top, that's too much.
Most sincerely trans people want to live their lives as the gender they feel they should be, right? This is clearly, Stephanie Mueller is clearly not doing that, right? It's a clear caricature of a woman, kind of an obscene caricature of a woman.
Exactly.
And it's probably driven by narcissism and vanity. But it's okay to be a narcissist. It's okay to be vain. Although I do think that...
Not in the courtroom.
I do think, well, no. Courtrooms are filled with narcissists, right?
But I mean,
most lawyers are.
I will give you credit on this.
Present company excluded, because obviously I am a very giving, kind, generous person. But again, when I evaluate a lawyer, especially those pushing back against the state, right, oppression, it all comes down to, how dedicated they are.
Charles,
and it's my understanding she works, does indigent work,
I've attended
fights for
court
poor
hearings.
people.
Charles, lately I've attended court hearings, Harris County, Montgomery County, Brazoria County, and you know what shocks me the most of what I see? How some of my own African-American female sister lawyers are dressing. Black professional lawyer women never used to dress the way they dress now in that courthouse, man. And I see them wearing mini skirts to where you would think that they're headed to the nightclub to get involved in a party at the disco. But this is now what women are wearing to court. And some of these men look like they slept in their clothes all night long and bought a pair of sneakers from Payless.
I don't think it's exclusive or even overrepresented by black women. I think it's women generally. I think male lawyers generally. It's really the guys.
I don't pay attention to the white
whatever.
women like that, so I really
but they are.
you.
I know, down with Whitey. But
No, of course not.
They are. I'm telling you, everyone's dressing too casual. The nipples a bit much, but as long as Stephanie is fighting for her clients, good for her.
Look like Steven to me.
Quanell, I think we're both big fans of primetime, of Deion Sanders. He didn't have quite the season at Colorado that he was hoping for, but I think it's important to have, innovative black male coaches that are doing everything they can to make the college football more inclusive at the coaching staff levels. And I'm very excited to see how Deion's career excels, because the guy's a champion. Right? I don't have anything bad to say about Deion, but I have to question his decision to hire Warren Sapp to expose these young, impressionable athletes I was always a fan of Warren Sapp, but I think that the arrest that he had 6-7 years ago for soliciting a prostitute, for domestic violence that included an allegation of stomping on his girlfriend's head, which he took a plea bargain on 1 count of assault and I think 1 count of solicitation. I think it speaks to Prime making a decision about the celebrity as opposed to, and getting more attention for the program, as opposed to what's best for student athletes. I think when you have these kind of allegations and convictions, I think at a private, at a professional team, it's one thing, but at a public university, being given free rein to interact with these student athletes, I think it's a horrible idea.
Charles, to be very honest with you, I am all for second chances. You know, I'm a spiritual man. I believe in Scripture. And Jesus did say that any man or woman that reached the depths of hell can also scale the heights of heaven. What concerns me is this case is that people are not taking something into consideration, not even yourself. I think I pray that they will soon develop technology for when a player retires from the NFL, before he can completely retire, they have some type of brain scan technology to search for CTE. A lot of these football players, man, are committing assaults against women and others because nobody wants to address the real elephant in the room from a violent collision sport as football. Most athletes have said playing tackle football is like being in a car wreck every time you make a tackle. These dudes, these brothers and these athletes of all races who play contact football have had history of violence. You remember the pro wrestler Chris Benoit?
Yes.
What he did? And when they finally opened up his brain, they said his brain looked like the material of an 80-year-old man from CTE. Charles, Warren Sapp, if he's trying his best to redeem himself and clean himself up and do better, he should be given a second chance. I applaud Dion for doing it. We've had players to kill people and get a second chance to play football. We've had players solicit prostitute even in college and still get a second chance to play football.
Well, let me be honest. The solicitation of prostitution, I bring it up because all the news media reports talk about it. That doesn't bother me at all, right? Well, a couple of reasons. There was no evidence or allegation that the woman was coerced or being forced into prostitution, no human trafficking allegation, although we try nowadays, all the media want to frame the police, want to frame every prostitution arrest as human trafficking. That's simply not the case. And if there's not coercion involved, and a woman decides that she wants to, monetize or commodify her vagina, or that's her business.
So you're sitting here.
Hold on, let me finish. The domestic violence is a whole different deal. And I know CTE is a real thing. Chris Benoit, that was largely tied to rampant steroid use and drug use, right? Then that's what caused most of the damage. Steroids are horrible for the brain. We don't have any evidence that Warren Sapp was using performance. Yeah.
Remember Mike Webster?
No, I get it. But it doesn't mean you're not responsible for your actions. You don't get a pass.
Depending on the damage to the brain,
But
Charles.
no, you're still responsible for your actions. Maybe you didn't get the appropriate help, but I don't care what's wrong with you. If you're stomping on a woman's head, you really don't have any business. And you're right. If he's done the work, if there's some evidence that he has put in the effort to change his mindset so this kind of toxic male violence doesn't infect these young people, that he's going to be controlling and directing and serving as a mentor. We don't have any evidence of that. In fact, it's just being ignored by Colorado, and that's what's incredibly appropriate.
But Charles, him trying to purchase or buy a piece of poontang pie, I understand he might have had a sweet tooth at the moment. But Charles, I agree with you. If she wants to openly let him purchase some access.
I don't care.
Well, then she should have a right to sell the funky monkey if she wants to.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, Charles, because to me, that's not a crime. Do you realize that prostitution is the oldest profession in the book? Right. And let me tell you something.
And it is a
Ask
crime.
any married man, does he pay for the coochie?
Okay.
Ask any married man, does he pay for the coochie?
To your penchant for misogyny, I will say,
Charles, you're a married man. How long you been married?
I have 30 years.
You take care of your wife financially, don't you?
Well, my wife runs a business that makes a bunch of
money.
But before that, yes,
you paid and took care of your wife, right?
Well, hold on. In fairness, when I was a police officer, she was a social worker. We both worked until I became a lawyer.
Okay.
And really, after I became a lawyer making money, she stayed home with the kids.
So every man that's paying the bills and taking and providing and caring for his wife, for his family's wife.
But you know what?
He's paying for it too.
Hey,
it ain't free.
Hey,
Let him stop paying them bills.
Most women.
Let him stop paying the bills.
Most
he
women
won't get no honey if it ain't no money. Married men paying for it too.
Both of our mothers were in a single mother relationship paying their own bills, right? We've gotten to the point in America where the majority of African American children are growing up in broken homes with just moms.
Well, you know what?
So I don't think we can reduce women
she did
to
have
all
a
prostitutes.
side friend. My grandmama did.
Okay, people are allowed to have sex,
my grandma Beulah had Mr. Jimmy. And
I mean, if your grandma
and,
wasn't getting it,
Mr.
you
Jimmy
wouldn't
was
exist.
married too. Mr. Jimmy was married too. I saw him with his wife a couple of weeks ago.
Why are you putting your grandma's business on these streets? Why don't you have any respect for any women? Look,
she
Warren Sapp.
She dead and gone.
Okay, why are you still speaking ill of the dead?
But
have some respect for the woman that raised you.
You shouldn't talk about the prostitution charge.
Yeah, look, I'm saying I don't have a problem with the prostitution.
If he want to buy a piece of
if you're stomping on your girlfriend's head,
if he wants to buy, some of that mocha gold,
that you've
let him buy
done the work, then you shouldn't be around kids. He needs to establish he's done the work. He's an abuser.
Sometimes joke to him that like our relationship is like that of like a slave and the master's son who like teaches me how to read by candlelight. Yeah, he groans too, because he's a good person. He doesn't like that joke. I like that joke. That's my burden. I think that's hilarious.
Charles, when you look at this comedian, Mr. Jared Carmichael, make these comments about him and his white husband, it saddens me that a brother, obviously, who does not know the truth of his own history and his people's own suffering through the transatlantic slave trade in America, wants to crack a joke about slavery and how he's engaging it with a white man to make a joke. I'm very ashamed that brother would take that position, but he put self-hate on absolute public display in one of its worst forms. When you know, Mr. Carmichael, what our people suffered, what our people had to deal with during slavery, ain't a damn thing funny, brother. So if you're in love with that white man, well, then y'all find something else to talk about. But guess what? He could have still talked about it with his spouse, but don't come out and tell the whole world about this, because now you're insulting all of us. He may not be insulting you, Mr. Carmichael. He may not offend you, but that's offending all of us. The joke that you're having with your white husband, it's a disgrace. He seems like a head bowing, knee bending, butt kissing, scared to death Negro. That's what he seemed like to me.
Okay, so what bothers you more? And I think it's his boyfriend, not his husband, but let's assume for a second it's the husband. What would bother you more? His husband. What would bother you more? Why not?
Because God said Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve.
Okay. So what bothers you more? I know you're against interracial marriages.
I didn't say that.
You said that last week.
No, that's not what I said. I said I don't promote it or advocate it, but I am not worthy to tell any man or woman who they cannot love.
So why are you worthy of
telling? If it's true love,
why are you?
If a black man dates a white person or a black woman dates a white person and it's not lust, but it's true love, I got no problem with it.
Okay, so what if Jared and his boyfriend are truly in love?
Excuse me?
What if these two men are truly in love?
Man, this man is truly insane. He's truly a buck dancing, scratch his head, laugh with nothing funny Negro who was pandering to a predominantly white audience.
I think one of the problems, you don't know what that audience was. You can't see the audience in the clip. None of the coverage mentions the racial makeup of the audience.
A bunch of black folk ain't going to see some damn gay comedian.
How do you know?
We don't even know about this guy.
So you're saying black people are
bigots? How many black
bigots?
folks know about him? He ain't popular among us.
Okay. First of all, maybe not amongst old men like me and you, but the guy's got an HBO special. Obviously, he's successful.
Yeah, but white folks watching that. Ain't black folks really watching that.
Oh, come on. Here's the deal. Look, we've got to stop being so politically correct about comedy. If he got laughs, if it was a joke, if it was made, would it be okay if a white guy made that joke?
No.
Absolutely not. But you got a black guy, you don't know about his understanding of the transatlantic slave trade. You don't know about his feelings on it.
If he had a real exquisite understanding, enlightened understanding, he wouldn't joke like that.
Do you have a problem with, I don't want to say Eazy-E because I don't want to seem like a grandpa, but do you have a problem with rappers rapping about murdering other black men or selling drugs to black men or doing violence in the community and the culture?
I'm on the record
that
hip-hop music The poison that's associated and involved deeply in hip-hop music, particularly gangster rap, has committed mental, spiritual, and psychological genocide on several generations of young black youth. So I'm on the record about that.
And I absolutely disagree. I think it's bad parenting based on, but not just for black people, but white people, Latino people, whatever kind of people, if you haven't raised your kids to recognize fact from fiction. All right, I bang screw.
But these rappers
I
ain't
like
talking
rap
about
music.
fact and fiction too much no more. They rap about taking Percocets, getting high on heroin, smoking all
Well, you
kinds of
don't think
illicit
rock and roll
drugs.
music talks about drugs
Yes,
and all kind
but,
of craziness?
But when you push this to your youth who are already, one, fighting in low-income areas, fighting in high crime areas, fighting in areas where the educational system has totally collapsed and it's not producing a product that it was being paid to produce, when you're living in a community, man, to where opportunities are very limited, not even parks, some of these parks are even open for these kids.
This was brilliant
They're
on
getting addicted
Jared's
to drugs,
part.
and the rappers are promoting it.
This was brilliant on Jared's part because you know what? Me and you are talking about it. TMZ is talking about it.
I don't think he's
and
happy
he is
about
looking,
this one.
He is looking. Every comedian.
He made his account private
no
now.
press is bad press. Every comedian, it's probably because he's getting bullied online. Every comedian wants the attention. You want to separate yourself from the crowd. Did I think it was funny? No.
Let me ask you a question.
But there's nothing wrong with a black person that did, or even a white person that did.
If he made this super offensive joke about gay people, would you feel the same way?
If it was funny.
If he made this super
I don't
offensive
think it's
joke,
funny. That's my only problem with
Charles,
the joke. If you're
he
going to
made
make a
this
joke, make
super
it funny.
offensive joke about members of the Jewish community in Israel, would you feel the same way?
If it was funny?
No, but you can't get away with that.
Okay,
but you can get away with disrespecting black folks on the stage all day, every day.
What are you talking about? You in
But
America,
you can't disrespect
you can
the
get
gay
away
community the same way.
with
can't
talking
disrespect the
death
Jewish
to
community the same
Israel
way.
and death to America. We just played
What
that clip
comedian
on
is doing it?
show.
But what comedian is doing
We
it?
got all kind of comedians hating
That's
on
doing
Israel.
that?
All right,
No,
this
I haven't seen that.
right here is him getting attention. He got attention. My only problem with it
Making
is it
fun
wasn't
of
funny.
slavery? Hell no, it wasn't
You know
funny.
what? It
was not
things
funny at all.
If he made it, I would be. Hey, look, my problem with it is it wasn't funny. Okay, if it was funny, I wouldn't give a damn, and I wouldn't be. I mean, I don't give a damn. You know what? Well, the only thing acceptable right now in comedy is to make fun of white people. It doesn't get in my feelings.
Well,
if it's funny,
Charles,
it's funny. If it's not funny, it's not funny. I
Charles,
don't give a damn.
that's kinda-
Make fun of me for my damn
Yeah, but
white
Charles,
cone-ass
but-
head.
well,
I
Charles,
don't care.
but
I
Charles-
don't talk about you for your fake LeBron hair. It's whatever.
Charles, let me say this. Now, I've warned you before, Bigfoot.
I
to
do have
keep
big
your-
feet,
keep
and
your
you know
mouth off
why.
me.
Lord,
I've warned you
the
before.
Lord God
Quit hating
keeps
on
the
me
feet in relation to the other parts. You
don't
got
like
them
the
little
fact
size sixes
I got
on.
one of the best barbers in America
Hey,
who
man.
makes sure that I'm
Hey,
so beautifully
I don't know
presented
how
to
he
the
glues
public.
that fade on
But
there,
I
but it
will
looks
say
good,
this,
Quanell.
because you looking like bald Thunderdome don't mean I'm gonna look like that.
It is a.
I got other options.
You know what? I'll take
I got other options.
because I bring the thunder with the big feet you talking about,
Will
little
you take
Mr.
this- will
Size
you take
6
this sweet-
baby size.
you take this sweet brother with you?
Quanell, where you wear toddler shoes still? How small them feet? How small them little
Look at
size
that.
nines
Look at that.
on?
That ain't no
little
nine.
bitty, little
That ain't no
bitty,
nine.
little bitty
That ain't no
size
nine.
nine. You want to see a foot? And y'all girls know what come with that 14.
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah.
Come
You're
on.
a white guy.
You know what?
So if you wear
Jared
14,
Carmichael,
you 7
it's out
inches.
a joke.
If you wear 14, you 7 inches.
You ain't getting what
If
you,
you're a
what
black
you,
man wearing a 10 or 11,
man, you
you're
wearing
14
an 8
or
or a
15.
9, them little baby
No,
feet.
that'll still
And
put
that's
me at
the whole
13
thing.
inches.
Jared make funny jokes, but you can't speak to his knowledge of slavery, his
Yo, yes, I
life
can.
experience.
This nigga should be
just
ashamed of
y'all
himself.
share a skin color.
This silly brother should be ashamed of himself.
You are just looking for a reason to get offended. You know, I don't want to come across as someone that doesn't think Warren Sapp is deserving of a second chance. I was a huge fan of Sapp, especially at the time of the Buccaneers. I think he is a tremendous athlete. And until that arrest for domestic violence, he always struck me as this incredibly affable man with a great personality. And if he's done the work, if he's gotten the counseling, if he's done batterers prevention therapy, if he's done these things, then hallelujah. Thank God this wealthy man is taking the time to participate working with college athletes. But what the problem is that Colorado isn't addressing it head on. And that's my issue. With Stephanie Mueller, the trans attorney from Seattle with the big hard nipples and her outfit was ridiculous. But if she is doing a good job advocating for indigent people that are being prosecuted by the state, many of them oppressed, right? hey, kudos to her. And same thing goes with Jared Carmichael. Just tell funnier jokes, young man.
No one is questioning Ms. Mueller's ability to practice law. In fact, it appears though she may very well be a good public defender. And being a public defender is not an easy job. We're talking about her physical presentation in the courthouse and in the courtroom. That is not proper decorum. In fact, other women who work so hard to let women have the right to express themselves in a field that's dominated by men for so many generations, that's not what they fought so hard for. To have a man transition to a female and look like that and present himself like that, he was disrespecting women, in my opinion. Warren Sapp, dear brother, let me advise you, if I can, out of all due respect and out of love, brother, make sure that you do as much you possibly can to attend any groups supporting women's rights and domestic violence against women. That'll help you in the future. You'll be more accepted.
That's it for the Face-Off on Fox Soul. We'll catch you next time.